What is my issue? I'm sitting in front of my camera laughing at who? For what? Hi guys, it's Ali. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be reviewing and swatching the new Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette that was launched, I want to say recently, but I honestly waited so long for it to arrive that I don't even know anymore. It launched some time ago. I am now officially an owner of a Pat McGrath product. Not gonna lie, I feel kind of bougie. I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of bougie. So this is the packaging on the palette. I'm not insane about it. The eye thing doesn't really appeal to me, if I'm perfectly honest. But I do like the pink and gold accents that we have over here. It does look very bougie. And I'm just going to open it up so you guys can see. So it has 18 shades on the inside. It has 15 shimmery shades and 3 matte shades, which might be alarming for some people because I feel like a lot of people would really appreciate having more mattes in here so they have more to do in terms of transition colors and things like that. But I'm obsessed with shimmer. I said it once on my channel before and I'll say it again. I absolutely adore shimmery shades, especially all over the lid. So when I saw this, I kind of was like, how could I not? How can I not? It's an affordable Pat McGrath palette that has 18 shades in it. I knew it was my time. It was my time to own a Pat McGrath product. I was like, yep. We were going to get here eventually, but we're here. Because if you guys have seen some of her other palettes that have like 6 shades in them go for like £50. And I think the most expensive one I've seen was, I think maybe 120. And there were maybe like 10 or 12 shades in there. And honestly, I was like, it could never be me. It could never, ever be me. Unless I had that kind of money. But I don't know if I'd still spend that money on an eyeshadow palette. It's kind of why I don't have like Natasha Denona products and things like that. It's just insane to me that an eyeshadow palette should cost £100. The palette also has this really big mirror on the inside, which I really like. I have heard from other people and reviews and Instagram and things like that, that some of these shades are shades that have come out before. So as far as I know, or as far as I remember, these 6 shades here and these 6 shades here were featured in 2 previous palettes. I believe there were Star Wars collection palettes or something like that. I'm not really someone who keeps like super up to date with Pat McGrath products, so I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that that is what people are saying, that these shades have been featured before. But if you are like me and you haven't got any, then it's literally amazing to have 12 old shades plus 6 new ones for the price that we are paying for this, because I believe just these 2 individual palettes is more than this palette as a whole. So I'm not upset. I'm not mad. If anything, I'm glad, because I feel like I would have been real annoyed if I had these 2 palettes only for her to release one that has a combination of both for cheaper. Granted, you get less product, but personally for me, this is what I would have preferred. I don't know how best to do this because all the shade names are on the bottom of the palette. I do actually prefer when the shade names are printed on the actual palette on the inside. But you know, can't have everything. So I'm going to go ahead and start swatching. So the way I'm going to be swatching this palette is I'm going to go from this shade here, Saturnalia, all the way across to Gold Standard, and the same for the other 2 rows. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So this is Saturnalia, which I think is like a perfect Christmassy red, especially with the shimmer in it. That is absolutely gorgeous. And it does have silver glitters in it. Bronze Nebula, Major Mahogany. And that is our first matte shade in the palette. So it's just a deep burgundy. Lunar Champagne, Violet Void, and Gold Standard. So this is the entire first row of the palette. There are definitely some standout colours here for me, and that is Saturnalia, don't know how to say that, and Gold Standard. They are gorgeous. Also, Violet Void is an interesting color. I do really like the look of that shade. That is very, very pretty. And now on to the next row. So we have Venomous Void, Odyssey, Fuchsia Shock, Megabyte, Bronze, and the final shade in that row is Electron, which is a duochrome color that is gorgeous. We've got pink, purple, blue shift to it. Absolutely love. So these are the first two rows of the palette swatched. I'm going to go ahead and use my other hand to swatch the next side. So the first shade we have on this side is Cosmic. Then we have Smoked Amethyst, Dragonfly. Yes. Love to see it. Venusian Orchid, Galactic Gold, and the final shade is Corruption. So this is the last row. So this is all of the shades in the entire palette. I feel like the swatches don't really do the palette justice. It does look a lot more dull on my arms than it does in real life, especially since a lot of these colors swatch differently to how they look in the pan, which I think is really interesting because I did find that some of them also apply differently on the lid as well to how they've swatched on my hand and how they look in the pan. Now that the swatches are done, I can definitely say that I do have sort of colors that I gravitate towards, and I've noticed this with other palettes as well. I definitely gravitate towards the golds, pinky, purpley kind of colors. The ones that sort of have a pop to them are the ones that sort of catch my eye. So definitely, like I said, Saturnalia, then we've got Violet Void, and I do really like this gold color as well. And then pretty much all of the purples in the palette are absolutely everything. Corruption is also a gorgeous, gorgeous shade. As you guys can hopefully see, the palette is extremely pigmented. We do have very beautiful color payoff, and these are single glide swatches, so I didn't have to, you know, do the swatches twice or anything like that. This is just from one swipe. There are some colors in here that I don't like the formula of, like Luna Champagne, for example, is this one here. It is a crumbly shade, and I'm not a huge fan of crumbly type shimmers. They frustrate me a little bit, and I do sort of have a pool of Luna Champagne on my lap right now just because it got everywhere. I'm not gonna lie to you. I definitely am so in love with this fuchsia color. It is singing to me. I mean, I did go ahead and use it on my eye. Speaking of using products on my eye, I am going to now show you guys how I achieved this look. If you don't want to watch the tutorial, then go ahead and skip to the end. I would though, because seeing how a palette applies is sort of part of the review situation anyway, and you get kind of a full picture, so stick around. Things are looking a little raccoony right now, but that's fine. I've literally just put some setting powder under my eye to catch any fallout, because I did go ahead and do the rest of my makeup before I applied the eyeshadows. And I've also got the Revolution eye base on as well in the shade Light, which is why everything looks so light. But anyway, let's get straight into this tutorial. I'm not going to do anything too complex today. It's not going to have a lot of steps in it, just because I want to show you guys what the palette is about. A lot of the shades are shimmer shades, so it's not like there's a lot that I can do, because I prefer to work with mattes and then add the shimmer as an accent, but that's just my personal preference. It's my personal preference. So I'm going to start with this shade here, and it is called Major Mahogany. So this is the shade that I'm just going to apply into my crease. I'm very glad that I put that setting powder there, because she is pigmented. Okay, so I'm definitely going to start using less product, because I did not expect her to be this pigmented. So I'm literally just going to build this shade up. But I'm trying to be super cautious with it so I don't mess up the rest of my face. And I'm doing the exact same thing on the other eye. Now I'm taking a brush that has no product on it and I'm dispersing that mahogany color because I didn't like the white cast that I've got over the eye from the eyeshadow primer. So I'm just blending this upwards. I just spotted this matte shade right here. It's called Venusian Orchid. And I think I'm going to try and use this to also diffuse that color just a little bit. Just to blend the two colors together. I think they work quite well together. And now I'm going back in with Major Mahogany and I'm just reinforcing into the crease. I feel like this shade looks different in the pan to how it's coming out on my lid, but we move. To be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said in the beginning, this is a pretty simple look. I'm just showcasing the shadows for you guys. So I'm going to use two different shimmers on two different eyes, just, you know, just to have a little play with it. And there are two colors that I just really want to try out. The first one is this orangey looking shade here, and this is the shade Bronze. It honestly looks orange to me, like a shimmery orange. So I'm packing this onto a brush because that's how I've seen the product being used all over Pat McGrath's social media. So this is the shade Bronze. Okay, yeah, on the lid it's definitely more bronze than orange. I feel like it swatches more orange though. Okay, I'm gonna try applying it with my finger as well just to see. It applies so much better with the finger. I don't know why on Pat's social media they were using brushes. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe for hygiene, I don't know. I have no idea. But I prefer the finger application as we normally would do with a shimmer shade anyway. But then I'm gonna use that brush to sort of create the shape that I want. These are super pigmented, by the way, so I am getting product where I don't necessarily want it. And then for the other eye, I'm going in with this purple shade. So this one is called Fuchsia Shock. And my eye was immediately drawn to this. I don't know why I've gone in with a brush again when I just said that I prefer finger application. To be honest with you, this shade is applying slightly different to the other one. The other one was a bit chaotic. That's the word I'm going to use. I'll just call it chaotic. I've decided to do like a reverse eye thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm gonna take this shade right here, Electron, and this one's sort of a duochrome shift one. So it looks purple, and then if you shift it, it looks kind of burgundy-ish. But I'm hoping it's gonna come out purple on the eye. And this is the shade that I'm using for my inner corner on this eye. So now you get the whole reversal thing, like purple here, purple inner corner, yeah. Yeah, so it's got like blue oh, that's really pretty. It's got blue shifts, pink, slight hint of purple. I like that a lot. And for the purple side, I'm going to use this shade here, and this is Bronze Nebula. So this is pretty much kind of similar to the bronze shade that I already used on this eye. I'm gonna hop off camera real quick to do my lashes. I'm also gonna add some black liner to my waterline. You guys know that that is a standard procedure for me. And then I'll come back, finish the look, and give my final thoughts on the palette. I've added some lashes and my signature black liner. And now I'm gonna go ahead back in with Major Mahogany. And I'm just adding it to my lower lash line. And just blending that out. And also blending it in over at the side here. I'm more than happy to leave it here, but I'm feeling a little bit extra. So I'm going to go in with that bronze shade and apply just some of it under my eye as well. Just to be extra, just so we can showcase the shimmery shades just that little bit more. And then the same thing with the Fuchsia Shock on the other side. Just adding just that little bit under my eye. I don't know why am I so extra? I don't know why I'm so extra. Sometimes it's good to be extra though. Sometimes it's good to be extra. Okay. Now back in with Major Mahogany, and I'm just adding it to both those colors. So this is how the look is looking now that I've sort of added all the little accents that I wanted to add. I definitely had a lot of fun playing with this palette, but as it stands, I feel like I'm slightly in two different minds about it. Like, I feel like the consistency of some of the shades isn't there. Like, the formula kind of shifts a little bit with some of the colors. I'm not gonna say Lunar Champagne again, but Lunar Champagne. And I feel like even just this bronze shade compared to the fuchsia shade, there is some slight discrepancy between the formula there. I feel like I would have liked to see a little bit more consistency in the application as well, but I can't be too mad. I think the outcome is gorgeous. Overall, the formula is a lot better than other products that I have tried. It definitely beats the Urban Decay palette. Hands down, without a doubt, no questions asked. It is a much better palette than the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette. I wouldn't recommend that palette to anyone. This one I feel I would recommend just because it is on the more affordable side, especially if you have that 10% off discount code that I had and things like that. And compared to the other Pat McGrath palettes out there, this one is definitely one that I would recommend someone who wanted to get into Pat McGrath or just to own a Pat McGrath product. It is definitely an exciting feeling to have a Pat McGrath product as part of my collection. So if you are someone who's sort of dabbling with the idea of purchasing one of her palettes but not really knowing what to do, I think this one is versatile enough that you will find something to do with it. So overall, I'm not really too mad at this palette. I did actually enjoy myself quite a bit, and I'm not too mad at the price that I paid for it, considering that other palettes that are sort of lackluster don't really compare to the quality of this palette. But this, of course, is my opinion. I would love to know what you guys think. Do you have any Pat McGrath products? Are you thinking of purchasing any? Has this video convinced you to buy or not to buy this palette? Also leave that in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.